So now the actual question comes in, that is, what are containers? Containers are completely isolated environments, as in they can have their own process, services, their own network interfaces, their own mount, just like virtual machines that we have seen, except that they all share the same operating system kernel. So we will look at what that means in a bit, okay? But it is also important to note that containers are not new with Docker. Containers have existed for about 10 plus years now. So we do have different container technologies like Docker, we have Creo, we have Rocket, and currently we will be talking about Docker in this series. There are certain interesting features that make containers go wow. The first thing being the isolated environment. So when you say isolated environment, these containers provide the isolated environment where applications can run without interfering with each other despite sharing the same operating system kernel. So what does that mean? Say suppose you have a web application. We have a front-end framework with React and back-end API written in Node.js. Okay, in order to deploy this application using containers, we will create two separate containers, one for the React, that is the front end, and another for our Node.js, that is the back end. So each container includes all the necessary dependencies, be it Node.js, runtime, React framework, be it specific libraries, configuration files, whatnot. Now, despite running on the same physical machine and sharing the same operating system kernel, the front end and the back end containers are isolated. That is, they do not interfere with each other's process or resources. So they can be started, stopped, and managed independently, and they have their own environmental variables, networking configuration, and storages. We have kept on talking about sharing same OS kernel. So let us understand what this sharing of kernel means. So now let us say, okay, we have a system with Ubuntu OS, okay, and Docker is installed on top of it. So Docker can run any flavor of operating system on top of it as long as they're all based on the same kernel. In this case, our kernel is Linux. So say suppose if the underlying operating system we have Ubuntu. So Docker can run any container based on any other distribution like CentOS, or you can have Debian, or you can have Fedora, so on and so forth. Now, the question arises, what if the OS that do not share the same kernel as these are supposed to do? Say suppose we have Windows, Mac OS and so on. So what should all these operating systems do? Will they be able to run? No. So you won't be able to run Windows based container on Docker host with Linux OS on it, right? For that you would require Docker on a Windows server. So now you might ask, isn't this disadvantage? The answer is definitely no. Because unlike hypervisors, okay, Docker is not meant to virtualize and run different operating systems and kernels on the same hardware. The main agenda of Docker is to containerize the application and then to ship them and run them. So the purpose is being served and absolutely there is no disadvantage on this. So now we come to the third and the important question, that is, how is it done? Now, Docker provides a streamlined way to build, ship and run application within the container. And the first part, okay, what we do is as developers, we are going to write code for our application. So once our source code and everything of our application is ready, we are going to create something called as Docker file. Docker file contains a set of instructions on how to build the Docker image. So this file includes the commands to install dependencies, copy application core and define the startup commands. Okay. Once done, we are going to build the image. That is, using docker build command, Docker reads the Docker file and creates an image. So the image is a snapshot of the application and its dependencies at a particular point in time. So once you build the application, you are supposed to distribute it. So distribution, we have two types. One is the pull image and one is the push image. So in push image, whatever the built image, okay, we have, they are built to the Docker registry. So we are going to push the built image to the Docker registry. Say suppose Docker Hub or any other private registry using the Docker push command. So this makes the image accessible for deployment. In case of pull image, on any system where the application needs to run, you pull the image from the registry using the docker pull command. So you have docker pull Ubuntu, and once you do that, you have Ubuntu and it's all ready to use. So how is it done is, there are a lot of containerized versions of applications readily available for us today. So most organizations have their products containerized in the public Docker registry called Docker Hub. For example, you can find images of most common operating systems, databases, and any other services. You name them, you find them. So as I mentioned, bringing up the application stack is as easy as running the docker run command with the name of the image. So if you just say docker run so and so image, you can start running the image. So what happens is, when we use docker run command, okay, this is going to create and start a container from the whatever the pulled image you have done. So a container is a runtime instance of an image, including the application and its dependencies. If we need to run multiple instances of the web services, simply add as many as instances as you need and configure them. That's all. So ideally, this life cycle ensures that applications are consistently built, deployed, and run across different environments from development to production.